I'm here with actor Cory Jeacoma at Paper Mill Playhouse. He just wrapped up his matinee of British Invasion.
Yeah.
Before we talk about that, and for the people who didn't see our first interview, which shame on them,
Unbelievable.
it's outrageous, really. Of all the things going on in the world, to
you
not
can't
see
stop
our interview,
come on.
this is talent here. You gotta watch. So talk a little bit about when you first decided you want to be an actor, and where you studied and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So if you watched my first interview, it all started in my 5th grade talent show. I did a killer rendition of Sugar Pie Honey Bunch, as any 5th grader does, and from there I sort of caught the bug and was doing theater from then on. From there I started doing community theater. I did The Jungle Book. It was Baloo the Bear. And then my mom, sort of saw something in me, saw how much I enjoyed it, and kept me going. And then I was doing theater through high school. Then friends started going to college for theater, and I thought that was wild that you could go to school for it and get scholarships for it, just as these athletes get scholarships for what they do.
Right.
I was like, all right, wait, this could be a good thing. And so then I started going to school for it. I went to Pace University in New York City. And then from there, I really started realizing that you could make a living on it. Not just make a couple bucks here and there. It's like you could live off this. And I was always told that if you love what you do, then you'll never work a day in your life. So I was like, all right, that's my in.
Yeah.
And so I started auditioning, and then my senior year I started working professionally and got my equity card at a theater regionally called the Fulton Theater in Pennsylvania. It's in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And I was doing Legally Blonde there. And
Who did you play in that?
I played Warner Huntington III.
That's a good good role for you.
It was a fun role. That was a lot of fun. And actually, my Elle, the girl who played Elle, is in this production as well.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, it's a very small world in the theater community.
The amount of people that I've worked with in one show and then meet them a few years later. I mean, there's a buddy of mine who I went to school with who's in this show too. So it's just
it's wild when you realize how many people you're connected to.
World.
Yeah.
And then I was working professionally, and then I graduated college and jumped on the Jersey Boys tour, and then did that for 2 years on tour, 1 year on tour, and then 1 year in New York City, and then left that to come and do this show.
Yeah. Did you have a backup major? Or
Absolutely not.
No, this is it.
Which, some people would say that was stupid, I guess, but I can't imagine doing anything else. And I always, whenever I do master classes and stuff, I always sort of try to tell the kids in a charming way, I suppose. If you can do anything else, do that. Because this industry is hard. Business. It's a tough business, but I can't imagine doing anything else. And I don't know if I can do other things, I'm sure, but I don't want to. And just the fact that I don't want to so aggressively, I don't think that I can do anything else.
Did you hear that, everyone? All casting directors across all genres, film, TV,
I won't do anything
Broadway.
else.
Yes, that's it. So you got to cast them in everything.
Come on, let's go.
This interview is going to open up so many doors for
Let's
you.
hope.
So, what did you enjoy about touring with Jersey Boys?
Oh, man, so many things. I would go back out on tour in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I obviously enjoyed getting to see parts of the country because the Jersey Boys tour was just the United States. We didn't get a chance. I mean, prior years had gone to Canada and gone to Europe and all of that sort of stuff, but I was just doing the U.S. tour, and just getting to see parts of the country that I wanted to see, or that I didn't know I wanted to see, or that I never want to see again. It was really cool. Going to and finding hidden gems, like going to Des Moines and being like, I love Des Moines. They've got a great pizza parlor called Fong's Pizza that has crab rangoon pizza that is to die for. I may have mentioned this in the last interview
plug.
too.
You may have.
I enjoyed it that much. I really ought to get sponsored by Fong's Pizza.
I'll send both interviews over to them.
Done. And getting to go, to the West Coast and hanging out there for a little bit, because for the industry that I'm in, the West Coast is very appealing and getting to go there and being like, it's not for me. But still finding parts of it that I loved and, you know, parts of it that I want to go back to.
Is it because you feel you're a true theater person at heart? Is that where your heart really lies?
Yeah, I mean, my first passion was theater. Of course, I just want to be a working actor. I don't really care where I am. I just want to work.
Yeah, theater-wise, it's not really a big scene out there.
Exactly. But, you know, theater is definitely my passion. But more than anything, I think the reason why the West Coast wasn't for me was because I enjoy the hustle of New York.
Yeah.
And I enjoy how humble it keeps you.
Oh, yeah.
Because
you're really nobody in New York,
exactly,
no matter how famous or big you are.
Yeah, you know, you finish a show for thousands of people or however many people you're performing for, and then you walk out on the street and see a homeless man pissing on the sidewalk, and you're like, well...
Get a couple people at the stage door, sign some playbills, and then head off into the night, which is probably nice for an actor to be able to do what they love and not have the eyes all feasting on them like celebrities of a not higher stature, but somebody who's doing 3-4 movies a year and busy promoting constantly.
I always say I can't imagine walking outside and not being able to have your private life.
Right.
You know? It must be crazy.
It's such an interesting dynamic with that in relation to Broadway actors who can have their life and
who are
act
famous
and do New York shows
on that block. And then as soon as they leave that block, they sort of blend in.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm curious to see how I'll handle that fame once I achieve it.
Well, I'll keep you humble. The Actors Audience, I've been just put a distant memory. You'll only be doing Entertainment Weekly.
I've been spending a lot of time in Jersey, so clearly the humbleness of New York hasn't been around.
Touring with a show like Jersey Boys. Just combine all the words and hope you know what I'm talking about. Audiences knew going in the story, and so that must have been exciting for you because you probably figured you were playing to an audience that you didn't have to win over necessarily. Yeah. Because they were familiar with Frankie Valli and. Oh yeah. And did you play the same role on tour?
I did. I played it on tour, and then I played it in New York, and it was a dream role, a dream show of mine. So to get to do it on tour was so awesome because I was playing, the Midwest and the West Coast and places that weren't familiar with the story of the Four Seasons. Whereas on the East Coast, that is the story. You know, it's sort of a universal story. So it was really cool to have that story be relatable across the country. But then it was really cool to also do it in New York because not only because of the fact that the people understood it and really it resonated with that crowd, but also because on tour we were playing thousands of seat theaters. In New York, it was a 499 seat theater, and so it was much more intimate. We sort of got to eat up the script a little bit more and really hone in on the book that was so impeccably written by Rick Ellis and Marshall Brickman. And Rick Ellis actually wrote My Very Own British Invasion. So I got to eat up a little bit more of his script.
So touring was more like the Broadway version of it?
Yeah, tour. Well, it was because it was virtually the same exact show. It was literally just that they tightened the bolts a little bit more, made it a little bit smaller so that it could fit into a smaller house. Yeah. They shrunk the cast a little bit. I think they cut 3 tracks or something around there, and just made it a little bit more intimate so that it could fit into a smaller house. And
you don't miss it. I saw Jersey Boys a number of times on Broadway and saw it once with you guys, and you don't miss anything.
No, it's exactly the same. And just as long as you have the talent on the stage, that's really all that matters.
Well, now that you're gone, they have that.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
See how this is going, right?
That's why you wanted to do this.
I was nice in the beginning, and then now we're really going in for the kill. So let's talk about your written now.
Right.
So the show that you're currently in now at Paper Mill Playhouse. You played George Harrison in the beginning.
I do.
So another musical legend.
Another music legend. It's pretty cool. I'm very fortunate that I get to portray these guys.
And then you're for the rest of the show you're
a club.
Various parts. Yeah. And a lot of, not that you weren't high energy in Jersey Boys, it was a different kind of energy. I feel like the show is more Cory being himself, getting people amped up and.
Oh, this one. I mean, that's why I have to go to PT after this for my neck. In Jersey Boys, it was much more contained energy. It was much more suited up. With this, it's a lot groovier and much
that's
more
way closer
in the
to you,
body.
right?
Oh yeah, it's much more who I am.
Yeah.
I think that there was a lot of who Cory is in Bob, but in this I get to whip my hair around and I get to punch a guitar. That's why I have a Band-Aid on my finger, because I tore my finger up playing House of the Rising Sun.
I was going to warn you to not bang your hair too much, because you see what happens to some people.
Well, yeah, there we go. It's going to come right off.
I used to be a headbanger too, and it's gone.
No, but it's fun doing this and getting to just sort of be a fool on stage and run around and jam out. And the company is so full of energy and so full of love for each other. It's really cool to step out on that stage, and it's such a sort of throw paint at the wall kind of show.
Yeah.
That we all get to sort of come into work every day, and we start the show. We all get together before the show, and we do. It's a stupid little huddle, and we go 4 on 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a dumb thing, but that's the energy of the show. It's just like
it's
goofing
infectious
around.
too for the audience.
Exactly. With a show like this, where you come for the music and you come for that energy, it's important that we have that energy with each other, and that it sort of surges through the company.
Right.
So it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
It's running through March
3rd.
and then you're hoping, or the producers are hoping, knock on wood.
I'm hoping that it soars, man. But there's no way of telling it. It's just a matter of time. So we close March 3rd, and then hopefully you guys will be hearing about what happens to it next.
Yeah,
and hopefully I'll be a
cool.
part of it.
Yeah. What other acting projects would you like to tackle for yourself? Would you like to do something that's more of with less people in it, and not necessarily maybe a one-man show, but even going around in New York singing as Cory and doing stuff like that? There's so many opportunities.
I would love to get my hands on some just plays. I would love to get into some straight acting, because that would be a blast. I really enjoy eating up some scripts, and so that would be a lot of fun. I would
Specific genre, dramedy, comedy.
I'm not for anything. Comedy is hard as hell, man. Oh my God, it's so hard. So I would love to, but there are certainly better people for it. But you know what? I don't know.
Don't sell yourself short. You don't know that.
See, now it's the opposite.
Well, first I gotta stab you, and then I gotta pop
Then you gotta lift me up. Now you're being New York.
Now
you
I'm
beat
being
me
New
down
York.
and picking
That's
me
right.
up.
Now I'm picking you
That's
up.
it up. You're New York.
But as New York
personified.
again, you're just one sentence away from being sad
Exactly,
again.
from getting knocked down. No, I would love to do some comedy work, and I've never done it, so I don't really know where I am with it. I would love to do some serious, gut-wrenching acting, hardcore drama. I would also love to do a one-man show. I would love to do a concert. I'm hoping to release an EP at some point.
That would be cool.
And, because I'm a singer-songwriter as well, so I would love to release my own material.
Do you find you have to put a different energy when you're writing your own stuff and performing your own stuff versus stuff that's already well known? Do you put more, not put more heart into it, I shouldn't phrase it that way.
No, yeah.
Is there more of an investment because it's your own, not in terms of your performance, I don't mean do you give less of a performance.
No, I think I know what you mean. I mean, with the thing with, Jersey Boys and a show like this where it's jukebox musical and it's music that people love already, there's less stakes, I guess. It's more about just do you sound good? Great. With writing, there's a lot more in it, especially if you write, and most writers, great writers, write the way that they are admitting something to themselves and to the listener.
That's right. It's a very vulnerable
profession, and that's what's so hard about it is it's less about do I sound all right, and if I sound like crap, then you guys are gonna think that I sound like crap. Whereas with this, it's how do I sound?
Right.
How's my writing? What am I trying to say? What do people need to hear? What do I need to say? What do I need to hear?
And how it's coming across.
Yeah, and how it's coming across.
There's actually acting involved in that in a different manner. So
it's incredibly vulnerable and incredibly daunting to sit there. And it's also a totally other thing to record it and just put it out there and be like, all right, hopefully you like it.
Yeah.
And then it's another thing for me to sit here right now, guitar in hand, and say, all right, this is a song I wrote about my girlfriend. This is a song I wrote about my ex-girlfriend. This is a song I wrote about my family. This is a song I wrote about, X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
It's a much deeper level of vulnerability to sit there and you watch how I feel about what I'm playing. There are some songs that I beat my guitar up and you're like, oh, he's mad about this. And then there are other songs that I'm dancing along and you're like, oh, this is, clearly he finds joy in this.
Well, I guess it makes sense because when you're doing someone else's work, you're invested in it and you want to make the audience feel something. Yeah. But when you're doing your own music, you are the music. It's yours. Yeah. It's got to be very gratifying to get a response.
Yeah, with this, for instance, House of the Rising Sun, it's a big power ballad, and Kyle Taylor Parker, who's just a genius vocally, and acting wise and everything he does. He's just wailing, and then we've got a guy on harmonica, and then I'm playing guitar, and we've got the band behind us also, and people know that song, and it's all about just giving that energy of that aggression, of that angst, and so I'm just wailing, I'm tossing my hair around, I'm beating. I mean, today I broke a guitar string. I don't know if you even noticed.
No, I was too far back to notice. I got screwed out of a lot of Cory time.
Yeah, that's all right.
Because I was on the right hand side.
Oh,
Had I known that, I would have gone on the left hand side.
There we go. But yeah,
Live and learn.
I'm just beating that guitar up, and so that's about just like throwing that energy out, whereas if a song of my own, it's a lot more self-contained, and if I am beating the guitar up, it's a lot more of it's a lot more self-hatred.
Now, since you are a New York based actor, I don't know what is going on. I think I had a stroke or something.
That's all right. It's because you're back.
It is because I'm back. Would you like to pursue like episodic work on television?
Oh, yeah.
There's so many shows that tape in New York that really could fit into an actor's schedule because of the taping schedule.
Like I said, I just want to be an actor who works. I would love to do some TV and film work. I would love to do some plays. I would love to keep doing musical theater. Yeah. I would love to do some guest starring roles. I would love to do a series regular.
We got a guest star on a Law and Order. That's like a thing.
Yeah,
a horror movie is the thing.
Yeah,
it's like all the things that like starting out actors do in terms of television. Stepping stone when you're.
I would love to do anything really. I want to work and I want to do what I love to do, which is perform. And I love taking someone's ideas and being able to put them on a screen or put them on a stage and try to get inside and get the gears rolling of what was going on in their head. And
how does it feel as a performer to affect your audience every night and just being up there? Do you ever get overwhelmed, or especially with a show like Jersey Boys, who people really got into that show and probably learned a lot of stuff about Frankie Valli?
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always incredible, and that's why I do it ultimately. My dad, who's not a theater guy, and my mom, who claims she's a self-proclaimed theater person.
She might be watching this interview.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, Mom.
Say something. Better follow that up with something
good. But they always say, it must feel so incredible to have people affected so much by what you do, and it is incredible. It's absolutely, it's inspiring that's why we do what we do, because you bring something on the stage. And for instance, a show like Jersey Boys and a show like My Very Own British Invasion, there's stories about people, it's just a typical story, but someone's going to get affected by that.
Right.
You could tell a story about an interview. You could tell a story about literally anything in the world. Someone's going to be affected by it. And that's why you do it. You could have a million people in the audience and no one is paying attention, but one person is, and that's why you do it.
Yeah.
And I had a really sort of eye-opening experience once. I was busking for money to pay rent, and I went to Central Park. And I was playing, and no one pays attention to buskers.
Unless they're on the subway.
Unless you got a mariachi band playing La Bamba on the train.
And it's so loud you have no choice but to look.
Oh my God. But, in Central Park, I just went because I was like, all right, I need a few extra bucks to make rent this month. I'll do this. And also, I'll be able to just play And if I make a few extra bucks along the way, great.
Perfect, yeah.
And so I'm playing, and I have my guitar case out, no one's paying attention. Hundreds of people are walking by over the course of an hour, and occasionally one person will stop. And in that moment, you're watching people go by, and then one person stops, and you're like, oh my God, someone's paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas it's the opposite here, you know, in theater and on stage, you're giving your heart, and you have thousands of people, hundreds of people paying attention,
Mm-hmm.
and then one person looks down at their phone, and you're like, come on.
Right.
You can't take 2 hours to pay attention. Whereas it was the opposite in Central Park, and it was the most humbling experience.
That's the word I was going to just spit out. It must have been incredibly humbling.
It
just
really
to be
was.
Doing something for a need. You needed to make
Yeah.
money, but you were also being vulnerable,
Yeah.
probably more vulnerable than at any other point. If
Absolutely.
you're sitting in the middle of Central Park trying to get attention.
Yeah, you know, here people are paying
Right.
financially and, you know, in terms of
Time-wise.
attention and
Yeah.
time and everything, they're paying you. Whereas in Central Park, no one's paying you, but then one person pays you, whether that be their attention, whether that be slowing their steps so that they can hear what you're singing, whether that means dropping a buck, dropping 25 cents into your case. Suddenly you get this charge, and that'll last you another 2 hours.
Yeah.
And even if you make $3 over the course of those 2 hours, you're charged. It's
Right.
a really, really cool feeling.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
also imagine that it's, we said humbling, but it probably is also very, makes you look at yourself and see just how willing you are to further your career and stick it out, even in the worst of times.
Yeah.
Then you know that it's truly something you want.
Absolutely. And also, there was also something cool about, you know, realizing that you got to do things in life for yourself, because when I noticed that whenever I was playing and I was like, come on, like, you know, pay attention to what I'm playing and like throw money at me, no one cared. It was the moments where I was kind of just like over it and playing and just playing for myself and just jamming and wasn't paying attention that I would see a hand reach into the case, and then suddenly I was like, oh, people are paying attention.
Right.
It was the moments that I was playing for myself that people took notice of.
And I think that also opens up your vulnerability, which you also need to have, like we said, with songwriting and performing, putting yourself out there so emotionally and so raw.
That's a cool feeling.
Yeah, I can imagine it is.
Yeah.
Corey, thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview. It's been
My pleasure.
absolutely a pleasure. You might have to be my triple play.
Let's
You
do
might
it.
have to do a third.
Done and done. Once this goes to Broadway, right?
Oh yeah, there you go. That'll be your first
Put it out
Broadway
there.
show. That would be
That'll be my debut.
that would be awesome.
Let's do it. Done.
Right. From your lips and this
That's
interview's
right.
lips.
Let's do it.
To,
Just keep on playing this so that we can send that energy out, right?
Just put it into one of those jumbotrons in
yeah,
Times Square.
exactly.
Corey, thanks so
Thank
much
you
for your
very
time.
much.
I very much appreciate it. And great job today.
Thank you.